We chose the song Applause because we think our outgoing chair certainly deserves a round of applause. I want to thank Derek Hudson, who has served as chair for a couple of years. Very modest, sweet man, great chair, very supportive, has a quiet strength. It's been great working with him. He was not only supportive just in general, but was supportive as his entire property underwent a complete renovation in which he was extremely involved. And while he was building a big chicken coop at home. So I'd go in to meet with him periodically, and first we had to talk about how many new chickens he had, and now his entire backyard is consumed by chickens, and don't get him started on it, that's all I can say. Anyway, it's been a distinct pleasure to work with you, Derek, and I really appreciate everything for the last couple of years. And you've seen the picture of the board. I'm very fortunate. I have a great board, and they're a tremendous group of hospitality leaders, and I'm so fortunate. I hear, when I'm out of town, sometimes I'll hear other association execs talking about how they're complaining about their boards, and I say, you must be kidding. I'm so blessed with a great one, so knock wood. I appreciate them all. I want to introduce our bureau team today. First, I want to acknowledge the fact that Carla Nahara, whose birthday is today on our team, is at a show and can't be here. And Carolee Adams, our senior sales manager in Sacramento, just had foot surgery. So she's home with her foot up. But prospecting, I'm sure, Tapo, right? While her foot's up. I'm going to introduce the rest of the team. They're not all full-time. Some are hardworking part-timers. But we want you to get to know them. If they wouldn't mind just standing up as I call their names. In particular, the first two I'd like to single out because of so much work they put in on today's event, spending months planning it, and there are an enormous number of details. Jessica Campbell, our convention services manager. There she is. Great job. You know she's into the job when she's having stress dreams about it. When things are happening, she's having nightmares. And Amélie Gissinger, our intern from France. Amélie, will you please stand? She has been with us. We were fortunate to have Amélie sign on for 6 months, and then somehow she managed to extend her visa another 6 months, and she's been fantastic. She's going to be working in the city next, getting paid more than an intern gets paid, and we're really going to miss her. So we've had her for a year, and you never know, maybe someday she'll be back. So thank you, Amélie, for all that you've done for us while you've been here. With that, I want to introduce the rest of our bureau team, so please hold your applause. They're going to stand as I introduce them. Gina Allhands, Vice President and CFO. I know she's here. Nina Ramos, Director of International and Leisure Markets. Uh-oh, here we go. You can tell when the hotel people are trying to butter up particular members of the team. Tapo Brown Jr., Director of Sales. You guys here? That better have been his team. Natalie Ortiz Ramos, our Senior Sales Manager, East Coast Markets, in from DC. Laura Garrett, Sales Manager, Sports Market, working on a little thing like the Super Bowl right now. Quincy Smith, our Sales Manager, Midwestern Market, out of Chicago. Carol Self, the person you all love and run from because you know she'll follow up with you. Carol Self, Executive Assistant and Office Manager, another great help with today. I run from her myself. Stephanie Furman, Media and PR Manager. Brenna Bailey, Film Commissioner. Edna Takeda Geller, California Welcome Center Manager and Leisure Project Coordinator. Juan Camaro, Executive Sales Assistant. Juan joined us this year and is willing to take anything on, and we've loaded him up, so we appreciate that. Mary DeRosa, Administrative Assistant, also a big help with today. And finally, Yolanda Bonilla, Administrative Assistant, another big help with today. So let's give them all a big round of applause. I really appreciate what they do year-round. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce past Chair Barry Ongerth, who's going to tell you a little bit about Derek's term.
Hello, all. We've been very fortunate to have Derek as our chair for the last 2 years, and so I just want to outline some of the Bureau's accomplishments during this past year. We have achieved over 100% of our sales team's goal for 2014, which was the same as we did in 2013. We've made major headway in terms of showcasing our destination as a great sporting event venue. We contracted for an interactive online version of our map in addition to a printed one. We made our website mobile phone friendly. We also made our first foray into the lucrative Brazilian market at WTM Brazil, continuing to build our database of Brazilian tour operators, travel writers, and other travel buyers. We brought a record number of planners, tour and travel operators, and travel agents through from around the world, exponentially increasing our exposure for our area. We sought and recruited more filming days and accompanying room nights for commercials through targeting the most influential producers and scouts in the industry, and finally escorted numerous travel writers and photographers through the area, resulting in a great deal of ink and online exposure. So with that, I'd like to call up Derek, and we'd have a couple presentations for him. So first we have the symbolic gavel for Derek. And then also, because of his love for chickens, we have a little clock that says here, "Get up with the chickens, Derek." So we have this for him also. Thanks very much, Derek.
All right, thank you, Barry. I want to thank the board and especially Anne for the last 2 years. And I apologize, my voice is a little bit hoarse. I don't have the beard this year. I hope this is okay this year. Anyway, it's my pleasure. I wanted to, again, thank the board for the last 2 years, and then turn over the reins to the incoming chair for 2015, John Hutar, the general manager of the Sofitel Hotel.
C'est si bon de partir n'importe où. Bras dessus, bras dessous, en chantant des chansons. C'est si bon de se dire des mots.
You know, I think we need to give Derek a really, really loud round of applause for such a job well done. I don't know much about chickens, but I know a lot more than I used to, Derek. And between now and next year, I'll have to come up with a really cool hobby like that. Anne mentioned our board, and we are a great group of industry professionals, and we do have a lot of fun, and on occasion I'll nominate one of my colleagues to donate or buy a table, and they'll do it to me, and we just have good-spirited fun. It's my pleasure to introduce our board, and we have 5 vice chairs. Marty Searles, Best Western Plus Lighthouse. Ernie Catanzaro, our host today. Jim Ribosio, Sheraton Palo Alto, who, I don't know if Jim's here or not, but he still deserves a round of applause. My good dear friend Cliff Clark at the San Francisco Airport Marriott Waterfront. And of course, Karen Bender, San Francisco Airport. In the officer rank, we have Treasurer Jeff Bass, Hiller Aviation Museum. Mitch Postal, San Mateo County History Museum. Of course, our immediate past chair, Derek Hudson, Hilton Garden Inn, San Mateo. And let's clap real loud so she hears us over in Half Moon Bay. Our chair-elect, Dana Dahl, Beach House Hotel in Half Moon Bay. And a great group of board members, Chris Carpenter, San Mateo County Event Center. Ed Gunderson, San Mateo Marriott. Chris Hill, La Quinta Inn, San Francisco Airport North. John Kalidas, Hilton San Francisco Airport Bayfront. John, you're the winner thus far on the applause monitor. And to show you how diverse we are, you noticed we have some who aren't operating hotels. Another example here, Christine Kupchak, Hillsdale Shopping Center. Ken Landis from Landis Shores in Half Moon Bay. Linda Larson, Tanforan Shopping Center. Mr. Redwood City, Eric Lochtefeld of the Fox Theater. Michael Melville, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Tracy Mercer, Four Seasons Silicon Valley. Rudy Ortiz, Embassy Suites. A hotelier legend here on the peninsula, Stan Moore, ex officio retired Marriott executive. Barry Ongerth from the Dillon. Jonathan Powers, Homewood Suites, San Francisco Airport North. Tom Scarmelino, Westin San Francisco Airport and Aloft. Tom, I think you just beat out John for first place. Hazem Shinuka, Hyatt House. And last but certainly not least, Jakob Yakubi, Marriott Courtyard. So Barry outlined things that were accomplished in 2014, and I'm proud to share with you some of our goals for 2015. We'll continue outreach to corporate and association accounts while continuing to actively pursue sports and affinity markets. Make sales trips to Scandinavian market for the first time, attending the largest USA travel workshop in Scandinavia, actively soliciting business from hundreds of key tour operators, travel agencies, MICE operators, and media from Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. And if you are not in the hotel business, we're not talking about rodents. MICE is the meeting and incentive market. That's as far as my humor goes. We'll attend ITB, the International Travel Mart in Berlin, and continue our great partnership with Visit California, participating in numerous international familiarization tours. Closer to home in the domestic market, we'll have two new ventures. We'll be focusing on new event content marketing with PulsePoint, creating a storied presence on numerous sites, targeting specific audiences, and generating thousands of engagements. And we'll partner with Visit California's recommended partner, Ensight, for a travel and intent-driven marketing campaign designed to tell us where our target audience is looking for travel information online and why they are booking in our area or others. And in addition, we will be rolling out a new certified ambassador training program at an extremely low cost, offering training on what our area has to offer for front desk staff, concierge, retail, and restaurant employees, and anyone interfacing with our visitors. Those who successfully complete the program will be given a certified ambassador designation and PIN. We hope you will have your team members participate, and certainly more information will be forthcoming during the year. And we're going to move on to the next part of the program, but this is a huge day for me. It's always lovely to be with industry colleagues. And I've made a run at being a convention bureau chair for years. And this is the first time I've been in a place long enough to actually be the chair. So you are the recipients of me not moving. So hopefully that's a good thing. But I guess you'll be the judges next year. We attract visitors from all over the globe, and it's wonderful to be in San Mateo County, Silicon Valley. And our guests keep coming back because of the service, and I'd like to call Ann up to the podium. We have a number of service awards to hand out to recognize everyone who works so hard to make all of us so successful. Ann?
Yeah,
Before we do our awards, since our guest of honor today is John Martin, I do want to mention that Candace Bender with the airport has been instrumental in helping us get into international markets and helping us with airlines. So we appreciate that. Wanted your boss to hear that. So the Prox Awards began a few years ago. It was actually John Hutar who initiated the idea, because there are so many people in the hospitality industry who are unsung heroes. They don't get the public accolades they deserve. They might not get the exposure they deserve, and yet we see them day to day doing so many things to make people feel welcome, as John said. We are going to first go through our honorable mentions. We had some amazing candidates this year. The honorable mention is in itself a big honor. As I call your name, some of these people know they're getting an honorable mention certificate, some do not. Please come up and John will present your award, and we will have a picture taken. First recipient, Tin Ong, Guest Service Agent, Hilton San Francisco Airport Bayfront, for going above and beyond in assisting both guests and non-guests with finding and securing reservations. Tin Ong. Next in the Unsung Hero category, as an honorable mention, Ravikash Chand, Catering Service Supervisor for the San Francisco Airport Marriott Waterfront. He's honored for assisting anywhere he's needed and for his exceptional performance in the hotel's Gold Key program, spending his earnings from that on fellow team members. Next up, Vicki Idsall, Catering Account Director for the Westin San Francisco Airport. I think she's surprised, right? For her 26 years of exceptional service at the hotel and her creation of incredible customer loyalty. And Scott, you'll make sure these are all right side up when you take the picture, right? Okay. Next up, honorable mention for Noel Miranda, houseman, Hilton San Francisco Airport Bayfront, for his integrity and honesty in returning lost cash to guests and great assistance to meeting planners. The next honorable mention goes to someone who could not be present today, Jesus Sandoval, server in 37 North in the DoubleTree by Hilton, for his incredible level of service and inordinate number of mentions by name in guest reviews. Congratulations to Jesus. The next honorable mention in this category goes to Arthur Wood, Director of Catering, DoubleTree by Hilton San Francisco Airport North, for professional, caring attention to customers and coworkers during his 25 years in the industry. In the behind-the-scenes service category, we have more honorable mentions. Neil Catalina, storeroom clerk, Hilton San Francisco Airport Bayfront. Neil is honored for his willingness to not only do a perfect job with shipping and receiving, but for jumping in to assist the kitchen without ever being asked. Next up, behind-the-scenes service, honorable mention goes to Annie Chan, manager, Moonstar Restaurant. Annie's honored for stepping in to help all in the restaurant, even assisting fellow team members with their own shopping, supplying coupons, and making purchases for them. She's probably the woman that knows where to get the deals, right? Maybe we should keep you afterwards. Congratulations. John's asking her for extra coupons. Also unable to be here today, but certainly worth describing. Behind the scenes service, honorable mention to Chandra Chand, housekeeper, DoubleTree by Hilton SFO. honored for taking incredible pride in her work, never having had a complaint about her rooms, and routinely submitting maintenance requests for her. Another unable to be here today, honoree Ling-Ni Chow, better known as Po Ling from the DoubleTree by Hilton, SFO, for her constant willingness to do whatever it takes and for doing such an incredible job with unique towel folding that groups have come back just to see the towels. So. Next, Linda Ide, Assistant Human Resources Manager and Executive Assistant, Sofitel San Francisco Bay, for wearing many hats within the hotel and doing whatever needs to be done to ensure that the hotel's ambassadors and guests are fully supported. Our next honorable mention recipient is not here because she's ready to deliver any day. And perhaps today's the day. Katie Kwong, Credit Manager for the Hilton San Francisco Airport Bayfront. Katie's honored for going above and beyond to ensure that all collections are made in a timely manner and for working well with the entire team, earning her the hotel's Manager of the Year award in 2014. Congratulations, Katie. And one final honorable mention. Eden Molion, Accounts Payable Team Member, Sofitel San Francisco Bay, is honored in the Outstanding Community Service category. She's honored for her work in assisting the American and Filipino communities through her work as treasurer of the Batangueños of Northern California Association and her work helping them to upgrade educational programs. Congratulations. And now on to our Props Award winners for this year. Each winner will receive a beautiful award presented by John Hutar, a check for $500 from the Bureau, a gift certificate, Vanna, for dinner for two at either the Hilton, the Westin, the SFO Marriott Waterfront, or the Sofitel San Francisco Bay. And let's thank those 4 hotels for donating those meals. Very nice of them. They will also receive certificates from State Senator Jerry Hill's office and State Assemblyman Kevin Mullins' office. With that, I'm going to read a description of each of these winners. And I think we have a song to get them all excited. Thank you. And I'd rather sing this song. Okay, here we go. Winner in the Innovation and Hospitality category, Diane Plotz, Loss Prevention Supervisor, San Francisco Airport Marriott. And I'm going to tell you about her. Diane's passion for loss prevention and the well-being of people is evident in everything she does. I'm reading from the nomination forms. Diane's role does not stop at the administration piece or even the caring piece. She searches for tools, conducts additional research, and presents a change to prevent recurring injuries. Her passion for wellness has resulted in her organization of a World Cup-style challenge with teams recording minutes of activity each week, as well as her organization of teams for such things as the Mud Run and other walks. She's also created a health Q&A suggestion box and had her suggestions for healthy food in the cafeteria implemented. Diane is not only an innovator, but a behind-the-scenes leader who makes sure her employees get the credit and recognition. It's our pleasure to present the Innovation and Hospitality Award to Diane Plotz. A little intimidating to see your face on the screen, isn't it? Right. Next winner in the Outstanding Community Service category, Dawning Chung, Event Coordinator and in-house hostess, Moonstar Restaurant. And we're going to tell you a little bit about Dawning. When Dawning came to Daisy Lee, Vice President of Moonstar, 10 years ago, she asked if she could work for food. Daisy wasn't asking for herself. She wanted to donate the food to nonprofit groups and the homeless. In her 70s, Dawning has now worked at Moonstar for over 10 years, working 8 to 10 hours a week, turning her pay into food and donating all of it to those less fortunate. Not only does Dawning feed the homeless, but she helps numerous organizations such as Self-Help for the Elderly and the Chinatown Community Development Center. And she's inspired Moonstar to help even more organizations. Daisy Lee says, Dawning is the only woman I know who can do all this herself and inspire others to do the same. Thanks to Dawning's efforts to expand Moonstar's giving, the number of organizations now receiving donations from Moonstar in a year numbers over 100. It's our pleasure to present the award to Dawning. Our third award, the winner of the Behind the Scenes Service Award, Props Award, Melanie Chan, Sales and Catering Administrative Assistant and Social Media Coordinator at Hilton San Francisco Airport Bayfront. Melanie was hired as a Sales and Catering Administrative Assistant and has blossomed into much more than that, according to her nomination form. From the first day she arrived, she began spreading her willingness to assist, team spirit, and passion for her work. Melanie has served on several associate committees, including the Safety Committee and Blue Energy Committee, a committee that works actively in community service and has participated in such things as cleaning up the bay, Toys for Tots, and work at the local food bank. She volunteers to assist whenever an employee is out or there is turnover in another department, and she volunteers as the hotel's official photographer at events. Her hard work and willingness to help others has resulted in her nomination as Associate of the Month numerous times and in her winning that award in 2012 and 2014. Congratulations to Melanie Chan. Our final Props Award today, in the Unsung Hero Award category, goes to Henry Tabor, doorman, Sofitel, San Francisco Bay. He's shy, we can tell. Shy Henry. For more than 24 years, Mr. Tabor has delivered outstanding service and unmatched dedication to our hotel and our guests. He is bright, cheerful, as you can see, enthusiastic, and a respected, trusted member of the team. Henry never forgets a face and goes out of his way to give guests a personalized welcome. He not only greets returning guests by name, he remembers the last time they stayed with us. One guest wrote to us and said that he had not been to the hotel in over 10 years, but Henry not only remembered his name, but the last time he had stayed with us. He is an exemplary member of the team who constantly demonstrates his passion and desire to create a link with the guest. Congratulations, Henry. With that, we get to a major award we instituted several years ago when Margie Grant retired from the Bureau. Margie Grant worked for the Bureau for over 25 years, saw it through thick and thin, and was an amazing person, always upbeat, loving visitors, loving to welcome them. So we created the Heart of Hospitality Award. You can see some of our past winners there, and we have at least one past winner here today. Pietro Paravano, why don't you stand up right there in the back? Congratulations, thank you for being here. I don't think Chuck was able to make it. I think he was going to be out of town. Is that right? The Pacifica team? Okay. So let us tell you a little bit. It was a little complicated this year because we try to keep the award top secret. And Cheryl Angeles and I went into cahoots and figured out a way to get this person to the meeting. We had it set up about a month and a half ago. And Cheryl called last week and she said, we have a problem. She has to go to Mexico and close a property deal, and she just canceled out on me. Well, I thought it was a practical joke because I tend to play them myself. I said, that's not funny. Anyway, we talked to her. We had to tell her she's getting the award, and she was nice enough. In the meantime, there was a whole group coming to see her get the award, and then we told her, no, she's not coming. And then she switched everything and everybody's flights, and so she was going to make it, and they all signed up again. So it was a little complicated. And it is unusual that she knows this year that she will be getting the award, but I want to tell you a little bit about her, and you'll see why she's so deserving. This person's dedication to helping others has been apparent all of her life. She's devoted most of her career to public service and taking care of others. She is constantly supporting the visitor and tourism industry, actively speaking to new establishments about joining the Bureau. She has handled logistics on numerous occasions for visitors from Japan, making sure her city's sister city visitors from Toyonaka were made to feel welcome. She took it upon herself to adopt soldiers overseas and convinced others to do so during Desert Storm, the Iraq War, and our most recent forays into Afghanistan. collecting toiletries, Christmas cards, thank you cards, and letters for our troops on a regular basis. Her warm and caring nature led her to take the reins in continuing to honor the Screaming Eagles Division of the 101st Airborne, adopted by the city of San Mateo during the Vietnam War. She worked on a Memorial Day parade commemorating the 40th anniversary of the first parade honoring the 101st Airborne and Vietnam vets from around the world, serving as the voice of the documentary. Upon her retirement as San Mateo City Clerk, she volunteered her time for a year as operations manager at the San Mateo Chamber, greeting and assisting all who came into the Chamber office. She continues to support our industry and all who need her. It is our pleasure to present the Margie Grant Hospitality Award to Norma Gomez. In addition to her award, she's going to receive resolutions and recognition from U.S. Representative Jackie Spears' office, California State Assembly, County of San Mateo, and a special framed resolution from the City of San Mateo. Congratulations, Norma. Did you want to?
I just wanted to thank you all for filling my heart with joy. I feel that God sent me a loving hug through this award. Thank you. I'm honored and humbled.
Okay. She was so quick, I forgot my job was to give her the. Luckily, Scott was saying, don't you want a picture? Everyone's under his breath. Don't you want a picture? And now John Hutar is going to be introducing our keynote speaker.
How about a round of applause for all those winners? And thank you for all that you do. It's one thing to sell the business, it's one thing to get our guests to come here, but by those actions, they keep coming back and they return and return and return and make this area so wonderful. So here we are in San Mateo County, Silicon Valley, and how do our visitors get here? Mostly by air. And it is, we have this world-class airport, second to none, led by John Martin, the airport director. John has served as airport director since November 1995. He has worked for the Airport Commission since 1981. John was the founding president of California Airport Council, affectionately known as the CAC, a statewide consortium of 30 commercial airports that was formed in December 2009. He serves on the executive committee of the Bay Area Council and board of directors of San Francisco Travel. He is also a past member of the board of directors and vice president of Airports Council International, Pacific Region, and a former board member of ACI North America. A little known fact about John, and it was fun to spend some time with him during the luncheon. The airport is 5.5 million square feet, thousands of staff that he oversees. But he finds time to stay fit, and he's a serious swimmer who has swum across from Alcatraz 4 times, and maybe in part of his speech he'll tell us a little about it. Please welcome John Martin.
Thank you, John. First time I've had that music as an introduction. Well, it's great to be here amongst friends and colleagues. We have such a great relationship in San Mateo County. It's a very good time for the airport. Hopefully a very good time for all of you in the travel industry. So today I wanted to give you a briefing on the airport, on our traffic numbers, some new international flights. Also provide an update on our amenities that we've become very well known for, as we have first-class amenities programs. And finally, an update on all of our construction. We have a $4.4 billion construction program and a lot of exciting projects we're starting work on. So by the numbers, record numbers, 47 million annual passengers last year, 4.7% growth year over year. Last 10 years, one of the strongest growing airports in the US, averaging 4% annual growth. That's a tribute both to the strength of our Bay Area economy, but also a tribute to the competitive airfare and service environment that we enjoy at the airport. A very high level of competition at our airport compared to many other airports around the country. International traffic is growing strongly. In the coming years, we expect stronger international growth than domestic growth. And that's, of course, where we've made the biggest investment, is in our international terminal. For the next summer, we see very strong growth, 10.5% growth in seats, 6.5% growth in flights. So we'll probably see that actually pen out in the number of passengers. And you can see this difference is accounted for by the fact that the airlines are flying larger aircraft, seeing an increase in the number of A380 flights at SFO. So some exciting new international flights. Turkish Airlines is starting service in April. And this is a very exciting service. Turkish is rated as one of the best airlines in the world by passengers. So it's the first time we'll have nonstop service to Istanbul. China Southern just started service to Wuhan with continuing service to Guangzhou. And we now have more destinations served in China than does any other airport in the US. Chinese passengers are very important to the airport by virtue of their duty-free spending, important to the travel industry overall. Etihad Airlines started service to Abu Dhabi last month, and a very successful startup. So we now have service to both Abu Dhabi and Dubai. 10 years ago, I would not have anticipated service to any of these cities, so who knows what we'll see 10 years from now. A lot of seasonal growth. You can see here the additional flights that have been scheduled by airlines for next summer. Of course, Emirates just started daily, year-round service with the A380. Air France and British Airways will also be starting A380 service. And very importantly, United Airlines will start a second daily flight to Shanghai. Some future international destinations. We think all of the markets listed here could support nonstop service today. Service to Brazil. Someone earlier mentioned the importance of the market. These are big spenders, and they really take advantage of all of the unique amenities in San Francisco. I saw a survey recently. The Brazilian travelers tend to visit more of the tourist sites and museums than any other category of international visitors. We expect to see additional service to cities in China. I'm sure some of those will be to cities I haven't heard of yet. In Europe, Italy and Spain can both support nonstop service, and we expect to see additional flights to Australia and New Zealand. So Terminal 2, we added a lot of new amenities and services in Terminal 2, and we're continuing to carry those forward airport-wide. We're also putting a big emphasis on improving the experience in the customs hall. Like many US airports, we've had very long lines in the customs hall, and we have some new programs we're putting in place there with the goal of reducing the wait times. We're installing 40 automated passport control devices, APCs, in the next couple of months. With these devices, this should significantly reduce the processing times in the customs hall. Global entry kiosks have been very popular. If you travel more than twice a year or 2 or more times per year, I encourage you to sign up for this. You're guaranteed a fast trip through customs. We also have additional Customs and Border Patrol officers. Congress has appropriated additional funding, and the San Francisco area should have 76 new officers starting in the next few months. TSA PreCheck. We have a PreCheck registration office at the airport. It's a great service. I have it myself. When you go through the security screening lines at any airport in the country now, basically you go to the front of the line. You don't have to take off your shoes, pull out your computer. It's like the old days. It's a great experience and relatively cheap to sign up for this. I think it's about $100 for 4 years, so it's worth the money. We have 2 yoga rooms. I think we had more news stories in the last 5 years on our yoga room than we had on any other thing at the airport. It's been very popular. I understand the airport director in Bangalore got in some hot water for not having had a yoga room before San Francisco. So we've just opened a second yoga room. We have a music program twice a year. We have live music over the holidays and over the summer months, very popular with travelers and helping to create a less stressful environment. The SFO Museums programs. We have museum exhibits airport-wide. We do almost 80 exhibits throughout the airport during the year. People sometimes ask me, who is the person who does all your exhibits? We have a museum staff of 40 people doing world-class exhibitions. So we're especially proud of this, and this is one of the things that gives us very high ratings from our passengers when we do passenger surveys. And we're extending our customer service training program not only to our 1,800 employees, but airport-wide. We have 33,000 employees total working at the airport. It is like a city unto itself. And we're requesting that TSA screening officers, airline employees also sign up for the customer service training program, recognizing that the employees are ambassadors for San Francisco, San Mateo County, for the whole Bay Area. Our WAG brigade, we have dogs walking through the airports, helping provide comfort to both the kids and the adults. I think it's just as popular with the adults as it is with the kids. And if you are someone who's in the Twitter sphere, and I'm not one of those, but maybe some of you are, we have a new Converge room, a first-of-its-kind facility where people can connect in the international terminal, connect with other people, primarily in the technology industry, and create and share new ideas. We have the first Chinese language website of a U.S. airport, recognizing the importance of the Chinese travelers. And moving now to our construction program. As I mentioned, Terminal 2 set a new standard. It set a new standard for our airport in terms of the level of services and amenities for passengers. It also set a new standard for terminals worldwide. Airport directors from around the world have come to visit Terminal 2. And when we designed that, we looked more toward your industry. We looked more toward what high-end hotels are doing, how they're designing restaurants, the lobby areas. That's what led us to put in the swivel seats and the very high-end restrooms, the unique San Francisco restaurants. So it's been a groundbreaking facility. And as a result of that, as Mayor Ed Lee said to me right after we opened Terminal 2, he said, "This is great, John. How soon can you get the rest of the terminals up to this level?" We created our own problem, but we're proceeding now, and our capital program will ensure we bring all of the terminals up to that T2 level. So $4.4 billion over the next 10 years, 36,000 jobs. Terminal 1 is by far our biggest project, over $2 billion. We've already closed down half of boarding area B. We'll be fully renovating the main terminal building, bringing it up to the level of Terminal 2. And we'll be building a new boarding area B, initially right next to the old one before we tear it down. It will have 24 gates. The existing boarding area B has 17 gates. Boarding area B is my third world airport boarding area. It's literally sinking into the ground, and I'll be very happy to close it. Part of the building was built as a temporary structure by TWA in 1962. Some of the gates in this boarding area will be usable for international flights, mostly domestic, but we will have spillover capability and there'll be a secure connector into the customs hall. Here's an interior view of what Terminal 1 might look like. We are just selecting the architects, so the design's likely to be very different. Terminal 3 work is proceeding. We're going to have one main central checkpoint in Terminal 3. We're expanding the frontal gates, putting in a new food court, a new bookstore coming on soon. United is adding another first-class lounge as well, another club. So that part of the building will be done in November of this year. So it's continuing the improvements we've already made in boarding area E. You can see some of the features of boarding area E with the unique permanent artwork and the lights that are shown there on the right side as well. We also have post-security connectors. We have a connector that's been in place for several years, making it easy for United domestic passengers to connect to international flights. We now have a connector between Terminal 2 and boarding area C. This is going to be especially helpful to American because U.S. air flights will be from boarding area C. American and Terminal 2, of course, they're going to combine as one airline, and having that secure connector will be an important service feature. Ultimately, we will have a secure connector all the way around the airport. We have two jet bridges in the international terminal that can serve A380 aircraft today, and we're adding a third and have plans for a fourth. So it allows us to have one connection to the upper level and two connections to the lower level to minimize the time to both board and deboard the aircraft. The air traffic control tower. It was wonderful for me to park my car and look toward the airport. If you look toward the airport as you leave, you go to your car, you can see the beautiful view of the air traffic control tower. I think it's already become an icon for our airport, for the San Francisco Bay Area. A beautiful building. We'll be done with our work in April, and then the FAA will take one more year to install all of the computer systems, at which point we'll tear down the old air traffic control tower. This tower is about 232 feet high. We do have plans for a new hotel, expected to open in about 3.5 years, right at the entrance to the airport. Many of you may remember this is the site of the old Hilton that the freeway ramps would have taken out a large part of the hotel, so it had to be torn down. Something I've worked for a long time, so we'll be very happy to have a hotel on airport property, something a world-class international airport should have. And there will be an AirTrain stop serving the hotel. We designed the AirTrain system to have a stop at this site. For those of you who are newer to the area, the hotel will be right at the entrance to the airport, along the freeway, just to the south of the main airport entry roadway, right in front of the international terminal. So what do these projects mean to San Mateo County? $446 million annually in revenue to the county governments from the airport's operations. So we're a big contributor to the San Mateo community. So we're committed to working in partnership with the travel industry in San Mateo County, the travel industry in San Francisco and Northern California. We're committed to being good partners with all of you. And we're committed to our mission of providing an exceptional airport in service to our communities. Thank you for your attention. I'm told there's time for some questions. Be happy to answer any questions. With the first person, brave soul, please raise your hand, and the other questions will follow easily. Yes, Ann. There's a lot of things I can't speak about, but we're continuing to work closely with the TSA, and we have a very strong SFPD presence, federal agencies as well. FBI now has a large office on airport site. Great team effort by all of the agencies and organizations involved in security. I'm also pleased with the improvements we've seen from TSA and the security screening company. They use Covenant as lines have gotten shorter over time. Sorry, I can't say more, Ian. Yes, Barry?
John, I was wondering, is your plan to have the TSA pre-line open 24 hours at the airport?
Is there a plan to have this TSA pre-security, pre-clearance lines open 24 hours a day? I'm not aware of what those are, so I'll try and get word, Candace, maybe through the board, word back to the board on what the plans might be. Okay. Other questions? Yes? So with all of the additional flights coming in, how are we handling all the traffic? Because basically with the construction program, we will end up with some addition in the number of gates, and more of the gates will be capable of handling the larger aircraft. We are constrained. We only have 2,600 acres. Airport, by comparison, like Denver, has 18,000 acres, LAX 12,000, so we're really limited in our land area. The airlines are fortunately beginning to fly larger aircraft. So each landing takes the same amount of runway capacity, whether it's a 30-seat aircraft or a 500-seat aircraft. So the bigger aircraft help us a lot. The more passengers in with less operations, and we're seeing that change. The FAA also has a new arrival procedure that's used when we have low clouds. So as a result of that, we can now use our parallel runways on low cloud days, where in the past we would have just been able to use one of those runways. That's improved our arrival capacity 20% on low cloud days. So our on-time performance as a result is a lot better than it otherwise would have been. But we'll continue to be challenged by having strong on-time performance. We need to continue to work with the FAA and the airlines on improved use of technology and, again, the use of the larger aircraft. Yes? Kevin?
I'm not sure how high-speed rail will affect the airport.
Kevin asked how high-speed rail will affect the airport. The airport is on record as being a big supporter of high-speed rail. Almost close to 25% of our flights are to Southern California. Very big share. So you can imagine the benefit to us of seeing a large share of that traffic to the Central Valley. I think we have 10 flights a day to Fresno. Can really help offload some of those flights and give us room for more international flights and the long-haul flights. So we're supporters. We're committed to having a good connection to the high-speed rail station in Millbrae, the multimodal facility, Caltrain's, BART, high-speed rail, all there. We'd like to see our AirTrain system hook into that so there can be a seamless connection from the high-speed rail station to all of our AirTrain stations at each terminal, so that passengers only have to make that one transfer and don't have to transfer twice. Other questions? Okay, thank you. Another question over. One more question over here. Okay, answered one more question. Okay, last question. Carol Matsumoto. I can't see Carol, but I.
You know, representing City South San Francisco, we love international trade, but our residents, with the Asian trade, we're getting the departures and arrival at 1 a.m. in the morning. Is that going to change? That pattern going to change?
This is for over
South San Francisco.
South San Francisco. Is a pattern of arrivals and departures going to change?
At 1 a.m. in the morning.
We can at 1 a.m. in the morning. That helps me focus my question. We continue to work with the airlines as nighttime noise departure procedures that when possible and when the pilots are comfortable with it, that they should be taking off the opposite direction as usual, so that they would be taking off over the water. And we always work with new entrant airlines and follow up with airlines that are not following that procedure to fly it whenever it's safe to do so. But we do have a large bank of departures, especially to Asia, in that 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. period. So South San Francisco does take the brunt of that departure noise. I'm sorry.
I encourage the growth, John, but you know, I'm speaking on behalf of my residents.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, John.
So thank you, John, for a very informative presentation. We thank you and your staff for everything you do. It's a pretty simple model. If the guests can't get here, there's no business for us. So we appreciate everything you do. We like to, we have a few token gifts for you, and we like to keep it local. Gourmet olive oil from Del Olivia in Burlingame.
Thank you.
And this one we think you're going to enjoy.
Okay.
Has something to do with that swimming adventure. If you'd like to open it, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
It's not something I have to model, I hope.
if the applause is loud, yes, you will have to model it.
Okay. I could try it quick.
Thank you so much.
I better get back in the water soon. Thank you.
And there's one more unsung hero. A big round of applause for Anne Leclerc, our CEO. I think you can do a little louder than that. John keeps the airplanes in the airport running beautifully, and Ann keeps our bureau running, all trains on time, every I dotted, T crossed, and I think the longest it's ever taken her to respond to an email of mine has been about 6 minutes. So thank you, Ann, for all you do. I wish all of you a wonderful rest of 2015. We're less than 30 days into it. And life is just great in the corporate world. We're getting nice earnings reports from companies in our backyard. It's beautiful weather. Okay, we'll get a little more rain between now and next year. But we'll enjoy this all while it lasts. I look forward to welcoming you with all of our ambassadors at the Sofitel San Francisco Bay less than a year from now, because exactly a year from now, we're going to be talking about Super Bowl just a few miles south, and with a luck and a prayer, there'll be a lot of gold and red in that mix, so we'll stay hopeful on that front as well. Have a great rest of the day, rest of the year. Have a great day. Thank you very much.